Good morning and good morning, James.
Morning.
So we are here back at LabelExpo in Brussels, and I think this is the first time since 19, right?
2019, that's right.
So last time you were here in 19, where were you in your life at that time?
2019, I was editor of Labels and Labeling, so part of the team here on site. Labels and Labeling, same company as LabelExpo. So it's amazing to be back. 4 years without the biggest flagship show of the industry. This is the LabelExpo show that is truly global. People come from every corner of the world. So not to have had a show here for 4 years means that there's an enormous amount of very interesting technology to see this week. A lot of pent-up innovation, I suppose.
And I take that you and I, we will have some busy days. I mean, you're with us for 2 days, and
Yes.
then, of course, you're doing a lot of writing, because even though I would like to have you here as a fixed part of INKISH, you are a freelancer, basically, right?
That's right, yeah. So delighted to be working with you guys for today and tomorrow, and then I'm also reporting for Labels and Labeling. I'll be covering the finishing and converting technology side for the review. But yeah, great to be here and looking forward to it.
And when we last week sat down with the map and started talking about who we wanted to meet and what we wanted to see, I mean, there was a lot, and unfortunately, you always have to say no to something because you can't cover everybody, right?
Sure. I mean, there are more than 600 exhibitors here. As we say, no show here in Brussels for the last 4 years, so an enormous amount of new technology. It's going to be an amazing sort of occasion to see how the industry has moved forward over the last few years. And yeah, I mean, you can only ever really scratch the surface. You could have a full week here or longer and still have plenty to do.
I already met some people that I have interviewed earlier, actually a guy from South Africa, and he was like, I asked him if he was here to invest, and he said, yeah, we might be investing. And I said, okay, so what are you looking for? Digital was the first thing he said. And I said, is it pure digital, or is it the hybrids? Because I think that is part of the trends that you see right now, right?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, so on the digital side, there is lots of new stuff, particularly in the area of flexible packaging. So HP have got their new 200,000 press, which is the successor of the 20,000, and they're going to be producing sort of like a digital pouch factory. Zycon have lots of new developments. Screen and Neil Peter are teaming up for a new hybrid press, basically focused on digital embellishment, which is another huge trend. On the digital side, generally, we're seeing faster and faster machines. That's one of the kind of key developments, maybe in the last kind of year or so, that a lot of the new generation of digital presses are now able to compete with Flexo when it comes to productivity. Machine launches from Bobst, Durst, Neil Peter. Sorry, not Neil Peter. Bobst, Durst, Domino. There's a huge amount of innovation going on the digital side.
On the let's say more conventional side, I think that one of the biggest trends is ECG right now. I mean, we see that everywhere right now. Is that also because, I mean, with faster setup times, it is one way of competing against digital? Or?
Yeah, absolutely. And that, I mean, I think possibly one of the most interesting stories of this show this week is, you remember in Chicago last year, there were no Flexo presses on the show floor. So everyone was talking about that. Why is that the case? And the truth is, it had more to do with circumstances, probably
also
shortage
because,
of semiconductor chips,
and
all
also
these
the
things.
timing for setting up, because the American shows have little
yeah.
shorter setup times. Right?
And Flexo is back here with a bang. Neil Peter are showing their new FA26 press. There's stuff from Bob's, from Mark Andy. There's What's interesting about it, Lombardi also are showing their Invicta press, and a lot of the Flexo presses on the show floor really actually fall into the kind of mid-web category. Flexo presses have been getting wider and wider.
And that, of course, creates even further demand for smarter slittings and also the finishing side of it. Because, I mean, of course, you have very efficient press when you have the mid-web size, even for labels and all that, but it requires more finishing, right?
That's right, and funnily enough, there's been huge advancements in speed in terms of semi-rotary die cutting, and yeah, I mean, embellishment generally seems to be a key theme, particularly sort of on the digital side. But what's interesting?
Sorry to interrupt you. I actually saw that GM claimed to have the fastest die cutter in the world, right?
GM or Graphitronic?
No?
GM.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's interesting.
So we're
I didn't
going to see
that,
right? Yeah.
Because Graphitronic were previously claiming it.
I think it was 600 meters per minute, so that is
that's
pretty
amazing.
impressive.
That is very impressive. One of the other really key things that we're going to see, I think, is that I mean, it's almost an unfortunate name, but a very strong brand. But LabelExpo, it's not just a label show.
It is packaging, it's flexible, it's like pouches.
Increasingly, it's a package printing show. I remember in 2017. When I was writing for Labels and Labeling, it was one of the things that we started to write about at that show, that it had begun to cross over into a sort of more package print show. There was flexible packaging, folding carton, there was even direct print to container and in 2017, and then that trend continued in 2019, and now 4 years on from there.
It would be exciting to see, right?
I mean, it is a package printing show.
Yeah.
I mean,
James, with your history and also, I mean, being part of the show like you have in the past, now we look at the people entering here in the morning of Monday the 11th, right? And how do you feel? I mean, this is the last time it's here in Brussels. How does that make you feel?
Well, the thing I always look forward to most about these shows is the people. We see friends who
you already met some,
yeah,
right?
I mean, it's just fantastic, from people from all around the world. That is lovely, and that's the true greatness of this show in particular, the incredible sort of international aspect of the audience. So yeah, it's absolutely great to be here. The fact that it's the last one in Brussels, I don't know anything about the decision making. I know that it was something that we used to talk about a lot, sort of every show. I'm sure that a lot of the exhibitors are very happy, because I think generally people were quite keen to have a change in scene.
It is also a little bit of an old, like the venue itself.
Sure.
Is a little
Yeah,
bit,
my understanding is that the venue in Barcelona is sort of considered to be a bit more high tech, a bit more modern. And Barcelona is an important hub. So I would imagine that they've LabelExpo has got all its key clients on board with the move, and if all the key clients move with them, then the converters will follow, I'm sure.
And customers, of course, as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah, fantastic. So today we're going to have a busy day. I think that right now we need to get some coffee and some breakfast, right?
Yeah, that sounds good.
So this is Bonjour. Again, James and I will be back tomorrow. Tomorrow it will be a slightly different version of Bonjour, because tomorrow we will tell you what we saw today, I think, right? Should
Sure.
we do that?
Yeah,
Okay.
sounds good.
Have a super day.
And
see
you? Yeah.
Okay.
Look forward to it.
Okay.